Well, and I think that's another misperception too. Another misperception. People think the older a demographic tends to be, the less likely they are to use social media. And you know, you can quote all kinds of studies that are out there, but Forrester research, and you know, if you track over the last several years how they've tracked online users who use social media, I mean, even people age 55 plus and over, which is their demographic breakdown, not mine, roughly 3/4 are using social media tools of some kind. Now, it may be that they're mostly spectator-based kind of people that are just going to read the things rather than interact with them, but they're still out there. And the fact that you have your business model as an online business model, well, that's the pool of likely people that you're going to interact with anyway. So that, you know, is an ideal way for you to do so. I would just say, you know, it's spouting off the old cliches of it's about quality rather than quantity, and content is king. And so don't get overwhelmed by thinking I need to do 9 billion things every day. What you need to do is figure out what people are searching for and what people are talking about, and then create content that's going to help drive them to your site to find out about that content, because you have some unique perspective and unique knowledge that you can share, and there's certainly people out there looking for it.
Thank you.
One last quick point of feedback.
Yes.
Those supporters of yours, chances are that at least half of them use email. You can start there. It's very basic. And chances are most of them have children my age, and all of us get it, and we can be the conduit to voice their story of, you know, healing or whatever through your products.
That's great. Well, I'm just trying to start a blog. My web developer gave me like a Word something plugin, WordPress plugin, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know.
Well, we are aiming to help you with different types of workshops, because we hear this a lot. So no fear. We're listening. And if you have any ideas for other types of workshops, just shoot us an email at you can shoot me an email, bill@launchpadinw.com, because we are looking to do more workshops. We're already doing search engine optimization, social media. We're doing lots of stuff to really help with the internet, as helping to make the internet more of a tool for you. So thank you for sharing that, by the way. Did you have a question?
Hi. I was recently at a conference and talking about social media, how it's changing the landscape for advertising and news. Big time. And for example, we're all talking about what's going on now and where we were 2 years ago. I think you had mentioned, Tony, what's the next big thing. What's going on?
Ask MySpace.
Exactly.
Ask MySpace. Yeah.
My what? What was that again?
Exactly,
Is
right?
that a
Who heard of
.com?
Facebook 3 years ago? No, but it was kind of interesting, and it's also about, you know, advertising. PepsiCo, one of the ladies from Pepsi was talking about why they didn't go to spend their $20 million in the advertising at Super Bowl that they wanted to do, you know.
Yeah, the Refresh Challenge, yeah.
Exactly, and then also with the Today Show, they were the only ones actually that showed up. Anne was talking about what happened in Haiti, and she's a big user of Twitter, and how you cross the lines between the personal and the professional, and how you're getting this information, how we're tweeting information, and then she has an obligation that, is this news, is this relevant, is this really happening, rather than just to get it out there. But what had happened is, because of Twitter, that they were the first to get the story and to put somebody into really what was going on, and so how it's kind of taking away, and a lot of the news corps are very threatened by social media, because it's almost lessening, and I think advertising agencies also, because it's lessening their importance in a very big way. And so I'd like to ask you your opinion of that, and where the future is. Not where we are now, but where are we going? Let's talk about where we're going.
Yeah, you talk about industries that have been transformed and changed by social media and the rise of basically content creation by the masses. And my two chosen professions have been advertising and publishing. So, you know, there's probably not any two single professions more impacted by mass creation Yet at the same time, I'm quite excited because there's a bigger pool and there's new modes of communication and new methods of communication. You know, looking to the future, what we see, Chris brought up Foursquare. You know, I think when we looked at the kind of the original, I suppose, evolution of social media as I'd see it in the last 10 years, when we had blogging as kind of really the big blogging explosion was a little bit, I would say, about who am I? So you would talk about your interest, like those kinds of things. Certainly you still do those things, but then I think the next evolution became what am I doing, which became real-time updates, Twitter, that kind of thing. And I think where it is now and where it's going to continue to expand is where am I, which is going to be locational-based social media, which really I think will fold together physical and online worlds in good ways and in bad. I mean, as Chris mentioned, I guess, earlier too, you know, there's some scary things about that, but there's also a generation even younger than Chris that's very interested in letting people know where they are every moment of every day.
I just can't wait until we get to the why am I.
Yeah.
There you go. I think I know where.
Sister.
So news, I think I have your news. Here's how I consume news. When Haiti happened, I went to my Twitter feed because I trust the people I follow on Twitter as my source of information. And I also became a reporter looking for good information. And I tweet things that I think are valuable, and I choose to follow people that tweet valuable things. The only real-time data I got on the Haiti earthquake was off of Twitter because the news didn't have it. So I'm not saying that news is going to go to Twitter, but some sort of evolution where there's a voice of people that are trusted, and you can self-select. I trust these people. I use it as my own search engine. When I have time to read an interesting article about whether it's professional or personal or about something I'm interested in, I go to Twitter and see what the people that I know and trust recommend. I trust them way more than I trust, you know, the big 3 news stations and cable TV.
Very targeted, based on your self-selection, and that's the one thing that I think is most powerful and scary, really, to an organization that tries to be all things to all people. Nothing makes me laugh.
Like the Inlander?
I don't know the politics behind that one. Well, it always makes me laugh. Like, I'm from Seattle. Will Seattle have a snowstorm tomorrow? Tune in at 11. I'm like, well, f you. I'm just going to the internet, like Google. Like, the answer is yes. Okay, well, yeah, I needed to tune in at 11. I mean, it's laughable. Like, really? You're clinging to weather as your tease? Weather apparently is a huge driver of media. I had no idea. But it's
Do we have the sensor turned off?
It's self-selecting your own passions. I mean, it's funny. I mean, we hear these things all the time. You know, I was listening to Coast to Coast AM, which is one of my favorite radio programs. Last night or the night before, they were talking about autism, and the question was raised: well, is autism more prevalent now, or is a spike? And the answer was, well, yeah, there's a different spike in autism, but there was the answer of it's always kind of been around. It's just there weren't easier ways of connecting and communicating with other, families that had kids or adults who had autism. So it's being able to bring the internet and this information into your world on your terms, and I think that's what is most frightening to traditional media organizations which try to be broad. It's going to be more niche, in terms of what am I interested in. That's what I'm going to discover, and even Google's going that route.